Hello, welcome to worshiptutorials.com. My name is Bradford. In this video, we are introducing you to the new Foxpedal Vixen. It is what they are calling a dimensional drive. If you are familiar with any of the drives that they have created in the past, there is an older pedal that they no longer make called the Foxtail. And this one, as they have described to us, was loosely inspired by, they kind of took that original thing and kind of expanded upon it, made it better, kind of did more things to it. The real star of the show is this switch in the middle. Surrounding the switch is common controls you're used to: volume, treble, bass, presence, and gain. But in the middle there, you'll see there's an N with a cool little like atom looking design around it. That is a nanolog switch is what they are calling it. Nanolog N3. It utilizes quantum tunneling technology.
What is quantum tunneling technology, Brad?
I'm not sure, but the point is, when it is in that position, it gives you some more true to your amp kind of sounds. It allows you to utilize this pedal to just make your amp sweeter and better. Adding more gain really just speaks to the sound that your amp is already creating. You can dial it in to be like a little preamp if you want to kind of change the whole platform of the amp you're using just for a certain section of a song. You can dial that back, kind of treat it like it's a preamp. Very cool. We're going to showcase that so you can kind of hear what it does, how it just like shapes everything you're doing. And what's so cool about that to me is that you don't really feel like it's on. Sometimes when you use a pedal as an always on kind of thing, it kind of just changes how it feels. This is so responsive, dynamic. You'll see when we play it. On the bottom switch is the 4183 mode. And that is what they're saying is more true to just like an overdrive pedal you're used to. Now it's not a tube screamer, but what you are getting, it's the way it feels and the way it saturates kind of reminds me of that. There's no huge mid hump or anything. You're not gonna get that nasally thing that you get out of a tube screamer. If you do want that, they actually have a version of a tube screamer called the City, and that sounds killer in its own right. So today we are using the Shelton GalaxyFlite. It's got a pair of Lambertones Ristrettos in it, some of our favorites. And these are like a fat Strat pickup for like P90s for people who don't like P90s. But we're running into this RGM mini effect gizmo, which is allowing us to split to two different amps. First off on the bottom, Matchless Chieftain, classic sound. You know what a Matchless Chieftain is. It's this big beefy thing. So good. Next up, the Tyler HM30. That's like a Matchless HC30 and a Vox AC30, that kind of vibe. And we're running those things into the UA aux with the Tyler, and then the Two Notes Captor X for the Matchless. And we're using IRs on the Captor X. We want to show you a real amp, but real amps are tricky. So we're running these things. They're great units. More on that on the channel at some point. The UA aux video is actually already up. But you will hear, if you're running in headphones, you're hearing this in stereo, you'll hear what we got going on. These amps are hard panned. But when we utilize the Vixen in the N3 mode, it like evens everything out. And you may think, why would you run two amps and then want to make them sound exactly the same? Well, there's always going to be an instance for that, I would say. So really cool how this thing works. So let's jump into it so you can hear how it sounds. So for the first sample, we got some big rhythm sounds. We're using the 4148 mode, kind of treating it like it's just an overdrive pedal. I have the presence dialed back because we want this just to feel like a big rhythm sound. Not looking for it to kind of just be in your face. Just looking for it to give you your all-purpose, big, meaty rhythm sound, and great for leads as well, as you'll hear. So this next clip we're using in the N3 mode, which again is supposed to feel more like just giving your amp a little bit more. So the gain's gonna be higher. The nature of this pedal though means it's not gonna be an insane amount of gain. It really just feels like your amp's just more open. There's just more gain on it. Really feels good under the fingers, which I maintain is probably the biggest thing about drive pedals in general. The way they feel under your fingers is gonna speak to you probably more than sounds in a lot of ways. So the way this feels, so good. Nice little medium gain tone. This next clip, we're back on the 41-48 mode. It's more of a low to medium gain sound, something that I would classify as being what I would want just for like that first chorus in a song, letting chords ring out, just give you a little something more than the edge of breakup, just a little past it. We're not making the amps explode. We're not getting this soaring singy leads. We're just getting a real nice rhythm tone for kind of the middle of the road sound you're gonna want.
Would they call that the stage 1 overdrive, Bradford?
One might call it the stage 1 overdrive. So as I mentioned at the front of the video, what's really cool about how this works is if you're looking to kind of transform the bass sound of your amps, depending on how you're running things, what this really shines in to me is using an N3 mode, using the gain dialed back, and you set this thing at just at unity volume to the point where it almost sounds like all you're doing is switching amps when you turn the pedal on. Nothing's pushing, nothing's going hot. We EQ'd it so it almost sounds identical, but you can just feel that it's different. And like I said, it doesn't feel weird. Always on pedals to me can typically, like, you feel them. It feels different. The way you're playing feels different. But this is so reactive and dynamic that it truly does feel like you're just swapping over to a different amp. Makes your rig super flexible, even if that's the only reason you utilize this drive pedal and then you stack some other drive on top of it. You'll hear what we're talking about. Really straightforward, real simple, real nice. Just the way it kind of gives you something different. So when you look at the switch, the one switch right there between using the 4148 mode, the N3 mode, when you look at that thing right there, that is almost like giving you two pedals in one, depending on how you want to use it, wherever you're going to place it in your chain. So this is a pretty flexible tool for tone shaping, stacking it with other drives and whatnot. So I would definitely recommend checking this out. It's actually out now. We'll link in the description to the Foxpedal website so you can see this more for yourself. Videos like this in the future are slowly going to be making their way over completely to our WT Tone channel. We'd love to invite you to subscribe over there. This is us wanting to just show a cool pedal that Foxpedal's putting out. Foxpedal is also owned by the same company who owns Creation, and they have given us a handful of things, a handful of goodies for Brian to make a board that we're going to showcase as well. So we want to kind of show that side of things. Also, you're going to want to check Creation out as well. Once again, we always thank you for joining us in this wonderful video through tone, through time, through space, using the nanolog technology of the Vixen. We hope you have...
What did any of that mean, Bradford?
It sounded good on camera. We'll see you next time.